Hello and welcome to chapter 9 in your syllabus. The name of this chapter is report writing. So let us see the contents of this video. First we will see what is a report. We'll try to understand what is a report. Then we will see the different types of reports, and depending on the type of report, each report will have a particular fixed format. So we will see the formats of various reports and the steps in report writing. So let us begin. What do you understand by the term report? So a report is an account given of a particular event, issue or subject, especially in the form of an official document after thorough investigation or consideration by an appointed person or body. It is written for a defined purpose and for a specific audience. So from this definition of report, we have first of all understood that it is an account, means it is a description or it is about a particular event or an issue or a particular subject, and it is official form of communication, or it is an official document, and it is given after a lot of research, investigation or consideration, and a specific person or a group of people are appointed to make this or write this report. So this is what we understand from the definition, and it is written for a defined purpose. So the purpose of writing a report is always very clear, and it is written for a specific audience. So you already know the people who are going to read your report. So in another terms, I can say that a report is a short, sharp, concise document which is written for a particular purpose also and a audience also. It sets out and analyzes a situation or a problem and makes recommendations for future action. It is a factual paper and needs to be very clear and well structured. Okay, so let us see what are the different types of reports. There's a newspaper report, there's a magazine report, and there are other official reports for various organizations. In this chapter, or rather for us in CA syllabus, we mainly focus on official reports or reports which are written for various organization. So for example, writing a report for a bank or audit report, these are the kinds of reports that we as CAs are required to write. Therefore, we will the exam also mainly focuses on official reports for various organizations. What is the format? So the format is typical like the way we had for an article. There's first of all a heading which will be eye-catching, or the central theme of the report will be displayed through the medium of a heading or a title. Then byline will be the writer's name. Then place, date and body of report. This is for newspaper reports. This format is for newspaper report. Then we will see the format for a magazine report. Again, similar title heading will be there. Then by name of author and then body of report. In this only date is not given because it is for a report. So it will not be about a fixed date. It will usually be about an event that has already taken place. Then we will see format of various reports for formal or official reports. There are two types. So this is the first format. There is a heading, then from whom it is written, to whom, to and from. Then date is there. Subject may whatever is the subject. Then you will give details of the task and the reasons for why you have been allotted this. Then the main body, then information, resources and materials used, description of tasks and reviews. In information, resources and materials used, you will write from where you have taken the material to write this report, where all you have researched. It is like writing a bibliography, but you have to write it in much more detail. Then description of task. How did you achieve whatever was given to you? What methods did you use? Did you do a survey? Did you do a on-field investigation or such? And result. What did you find out at the end of it? So this is how you will do. This is one part, like one way of writing an official format, and then the other format is title. Then again to and from is there. Date of submission hai. Acknowledgements. All the people or the organizations that have helped you to collect your data or to complete your research, you will acknowledge their efforts. Basically, you will say thank you to all of these people or organizations. Table of contents, like it is like an index. You will write on whatever is there in the report. Then summary, you will write a small passage or an article to cover the main points of your report. Then introduction, you will explain the problem and make clear to the reader why the report is written. Then findings, what all did you find in during the course of your report writing, or when you were doing your research, or when you conducted that survey, or when you did investigation, what were your findings. And conclusions may you can give advice, or you can give opinion on how to improve the situation or the problem that has been given to you, and such. Recommendations, again you can give suggestions and proposals. Bibliography or references, from where did you collect all your information and how did you go about it, that is what you will write. Okay, now the main part is steps in writing a report. So how will you go about writing a report? It is again very similar to article writing. So first of all, you will understand the purpose of the report. A report is always written for a very clear purpose and always for a particular audience. Specific information and evidences are presented, analyzed, and applied to a particular problem or issue. So the information is supposed to be presented in a very clearly structured format by using sections, subheadings, headings, and all these things, so that the information becomes easy to locate and follow. The thing is, when you are asked to write a report, you will be already given what the problem is that you are supposed to write a report for, and who is your audience who's going to be reading the report. So that will give you an idea about how to go about writing this report. There are two reasons why you need to write reports. First of all is to find out what you have learned from your reading, research or experience, and to give your experience of an important skill that is widely used in the workplace. So first of all, to understand, and after understanding, to pass that information on to other people. That is the purpose of writing an report. Now, we just don't want to write a report. We want our report to have some effect or the on the audience or the people who are reading that report. It should make some difference to their lives or to their understanding. So, an effective report presents and analyzes facts and evidence that are relevant to the specific problem or issue of the report brief. And all the resources that we use should be acknowledged and referenced throughout the report. Wherever you have taken any help for writing the report, you have to acknowledge that fact that you have collected that information from X source or Y source, and acknowledge and say thank you for being able to use that ready-made information or information that you could collect from that source. What does a well-written report do? It will demonstrate your ability to first of all understand the purpose of the report. Then you will be able to gather, evaluate and analyze relevant information. You will be able to organize the material in a logical and coherent order. Coherent sequence has to be very important. It has to be logically arranged. To present your report in a consistent manner according to the instructions of the report brief. All kinds of reports will be having specific instructions about how it is to be presented. For example, if you have ever seen somebody's sonography report, it has a proper format. Why this sonography was conducted. For example, a patient had stomach ache. So reason, stomach ache. Then what were the findings? How is the kidney? How is the gallbladder? All the things will be mentioned. Findings usme. What all did the person who was doing the sonography, radiologist, what all did he see? and then below that it will be given why his understanding of why there might be stomach pain. So like that, every report will have a proper structure and a proper format. So to be able to present your report in that consistent manner or consistent instructions is a very, very important skill. To make appropriate conclusions that are supported by the evidence and analysis of the report. To be able to draw your own conclusions from the evidence that you have collected is also a very, very important skill that is going to be of very, very, I don't know how to put it, very, very great importance in your professional lives, because when you conduct audits, you will not just collect evidence, but what sense that evidence makes to you. What does it mean when a cash voucher is missing, or what does it mean when there are lots of cash entries? There are different meanings to each of these findings or evidences that you are getting, and to draw correct conclusions or to make appropriate conclusions is a very, very important skill that we need to develop as we enter into our professional lives. So making thoughtful and practical recommendations where required. So to not just collecting evidence and findings is important, but giving correct advice or correct recommendations is also important as an auditor, because you will have to give instructions or help the organization be better at managing their financial system or financial books or whatever. So as an auditor, it is a very, very important duty for you to give correct recommendations, practical recommendations to your client, or even your even if you are an external auditor, to the organization whose audit you are doing. Now the first step is understand the purpose of the report. So the first stage is the most important. You need to be confident that you have understood the purpose of your report. You have to consider who the report is for and why it is being written. You have to check that you understand all the instructions or requirements, and ask your client if anything is not clear or anything is there's a misunderstanding. In this case, from exam point of view, you read the question again and again till you get a clear understanding of what the report is to be written about. Okay, so first stage is very important, to understand the purpose of the report. The next one is gathering and selection of information. First of all, if you are clear about the purpose of your report, you need to begin gathering relevant information. Your information is not necessarily going to come from only one source. So you will have to research and read a lot of different variety of sources. But how much information you will need will depend upon how much detail is required in the report. In how much depth do you want to go for writing your report is what you have to decide. You may want to begin by reading relevant literature to widen your understanding of the topic or issue before you go on to look at other forms of information. For example, if you do not have the basic understanding of the subject of your report, then you may need to first read about that particular topic and then go into other forms such as questionnaires or surveys and other such related activities. As you read and gather information, you need to assess its relevance. You need to decide whether it is applying to your report, whether it is relevant to your report. Only then you can collect and select such information. You have to keep on referring to the question that is being asked to you, so that you can decide whether that information is relevant to your report or not relevant. The next one is to organize your content. It is not just enough to have a lot of information. How to arrange it or organize it correctly is a very, very important activity. Once you have gathered information, you need to decide what will be included and in what sequence it should be presented. Very, very important. Sequence of presenting your report is of utmost importance. First of all, you start by grouping together points that are related. You have to group points together which are related to each other. You can form it in sections or chapters or whatever as you find it easy. Remember to keep referring to the report brief and be prepared to cut any information that is not directly relevant to the report. So keep on reading the question again and again and arrange the information accordingly, and start deleting or omitting information that you think is not directly related to your report. And choose an order for your material that is logical and easy to follow. It has to be logical and it has to be easy to understand to a third person who has not done that research along with you, because that person is going to be reading your report. So you have to arrange the information in very logical and easy to understand manner. The next stage, or the fourth stage, is analyzing your material. Now, analyzing your material means what? To recheck whether whatever you have gathered information and the way in which you have arranged it is correct, relevant, and easy to understand or not. So you analyze your material. Before you begin to write your first draft of the report, take time to consider and make notes on the points you will be making to use the facts and evidence you have gathered. What conclusions can be drawn from the material, or what are the limitations or flaws in the evidence that you have collected? Do certain pieces of evidence conflict with one another? This is another important aspect that you need to recheck or check. The information that you have collected should not be contradictory to each other. It should be in tune to what you want to prove in your report or what you want to say in your report. It should not contradict each other at any given time or any given place. It is not enough to simply present the information you have gathered. You must also be able to relate it to the problem or issue described in the report brief. So you have to be able to connect the information that you have gathered to the question that is being asked in the report. Very important. So analyze and recheck the material that you have gathered. Try to understand what are the limitations or flaws in the information or evidences that you have collected, and also whether there is anything which is contradictory or conflicting to what you want to say. Then arrange it properly. The next stage is writing the report. So after you have organized your material into appropriate sections and headings, you can begin to write the first draft of your report. You may find it easier to write the summary and contents page at the end when you know exactly what will be included. Aim for a writing style that is direct and precise. Okay. First of all, how to write the report. I am just giving you a brief idea. The structure can be as follows. First of all, introduce the main idea of the chapter or section or the paragraph that you are talking about. Introducing means what that idea is. For example, when I began this video, I started with what is a report. So what is the problem that you are talking about in your report? You need to introduce the main idea about that report. Then the next one will be explain and expand the idea, defining any key terms. So if any definitions are available or you have written any definition, so you have to explain that idea and expand that idea. Give more information about that idea. Third will be present relevant evidences to support your points. Relevant evidences, whatever research that you have conducted or whatever information you have gathered, how it is connected to the problem being asked or the question being asked is very important. So present that evidence or information in the correct manner and a logical sequence. Then comment on each piece of evidence showing how it relates to your points. You need to give your comments about how each of those evidences that you have gathered is talking about the problem in the report, whether it is agreeing with that problem or not agreeing with that problem. Very important. And conclude your report by either showing its significance to the report as a whole or making a link to the next chapter or section if there are any such chapters or sections in your report. So concluding will show the importance of that report, why this writing this report was important, and how is it helping to solve that problem or to understand that problem in a better way is very, very important. Then reviewing and redrafting is the next stage. You should leave enough sufficient time to review your first draft. You have to be prepared to rearrange or rewrite sections if you feel after reading that they are not good enough or they can be written in a better manner. You must be willing to rearrange it. Don't think that the first draft is your final draft. Then try to read the draft from the perspective of the reader. Now, when we do research or when we collect information about a particular topic, we have so much information that slowly we take it for granted that everybody will understand what we are saying. But we need to consider that if a layman or a person who does not know anything about that topic is reading our report, will he be able to understand? So we need to take that reader's perspective into point and decide whether what our report is easy to follow and whether the structure is clear and does it make sense to a layman. Are the points concisely but clearly explained and supported by relevant evidence? That is also a very, very important thing that you need to review. If you are having enough place, you can make sections using a pencil, or you can make points side by side. So when you redraft it, it will be easier for you to go through your report. Now the last stage is presentation. Once you are satisfied with your draft and the structure of the redrafted report, you can turn your attention to the presentation part. You must check that the wording of each chapter or section or subheading is clear and accurate. Check that you have complied with the instructions in your report brief regarding format and presentation. A lot of reports will have a fixed font or a fixed font size, then paragraph margins, and all these things will be mentioned specifically in the report. So you need to give your attention to those parts as well. Then check the numbering of the pages, headers, footers, and all these things are very, very important. You need to proofread once before you submit your report for grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes and all these things. If you have enough time, then proofread once more. Errors in presentation or reports create a very, very poor impression and they can make the report very, very difficult to read. So that is important. To proofread is very, very important when you write reports. So these are the 7 steps in writing a report. And that's it for this video. We will meet in the next video, and this completes the report writing, précis writing and article writing part in your syllabus. Thank you.